welcome back to another episode of Chase for the Checkers. We will be at Michigan this week. Super excited for it. Michigan up in Brooklyn, not New York, but Brooklyn, Michigan. We're going to be up there. It's a 2-mile intermediate track. It's D-shaped. We should see a lot of the same people who have been good at these types of tracks. Your Denny Hamlins, Tyler Reddick, Christopher Bell, basically all the Toyotas. We should see them be good this week. But before we jump into all the picks and all of the things that I have to give to you, let's talk a little bit about how Nashville went. Not get into the storylines or anything, just talk about the card. It didn't do well. We did get a checkered flag, another one. I've lost count of how many that is this year. With Denny Hamlin, but that was it. We were close with Eric Jones for the top 10, and that was really the only other thing that we were, kind of even close with. I did a lot of props. None of the props hit. None of them were really even close. So, that was Nashville. It was a good race. I enjoyed it. And yeah, again, we did leave with a checkered flag, so that's good. But we're going to talk about Michigan. Let's start with some props, okay? Not heavy on the props again this week, but I do have a couple that I really like. First one I'm starting with a group bet again. I don't do those often. In fact, I think last week might have been the first one that I did this year. I don't know. But I got another one that I really like, and that's Austin Dillon, Group F, on Caesars at plus 225. In this group, Austin Dillon is going against AJ Allmendinger, Josh Berry, and Connor Zilisch. Dillon has the better average finishes of the four here at the similar tracks. So think of like your Kansas, Texas, Las Vegas. I think Charlotte might be in there, but especially Kansas, Texas, and Las Vegas. And he's got the best average finish out of all those drivers. He is currently has an average finish of 19th on those similar tracks. So again, just those similar tracks compared to AJ Allmendinger, who is next at 22.3 average finish, and Berry and Zilisch, yikes, are both in the 30s. Not good for them. Dillon also has won this matchup 2 out of 3 times. So, also looks about how much time these drivers are spending in the top 15. So running laps in the top 15 consistently. And Dillon, again, leads the 4 at an average of 33.3% compared to the next person, which is AJ Allmendinger, at only 11.2%. So all that to say, I trust the number 3 car this week to be the top out of that group. Connor Zilisch, this is his first true race here at Michigan. He's never been before, so a true rookie moment. Hasn't really stepped up with rookie moments so far this year, so I'm not expecting a lot. He's had a couple of decent runs recently, but man, it's going to be tough. Josh Berry has been non-existent, as much as I hate to say that. Just not been good. AJ obviously had a really good run last week, but just hasn't really had the speed at these types of tracks. So I like Austin Dillon, Group F, at plus 225 on Caesar. Top Ford, Chris Buescher at plus 350 on DraftKings. Buescher has been consistent all year. He's been very consistent at these types of tracks, especially, and even more so this track, especially. So Buescher has really been the class of the field when it comes to Fords. The favorite, Blaney, he is the favorite to be top Ford, has only finished better than him once, and that was at the Coke 600. So once at these types of tracks. Again, a lot of this is just based off of the similar tracks, not the whole season in general, just looking at these types of tracks. And Blaney has only finished better than him once, and that was the Coke 600, where, if you remember, Buescher was in a late accident. Now, Brad Keselowski, he's been known to be fast here. I'll get into him a little bit later. Spoiler alert. Logano is another one who's at the top of the list, but I'm not really confident in Logano with how he's ran this year. Zane Smith, maybe. He's another one that might be brought up later. But I'm confident in Chris Buescher. He is second in average finish here at 6.3. He's third in average driver rating and fourth overall in average speed rankings. All the other Fords in these stats are around 9th to 10th place, except for Brad, I think, in average finish he's 5th overall at an 8.5. So that's still 2 spots less. So I like Chris Buescher plus 350 on DraftKings to be the top Ford. But let's move on. We'll jump to top 10 picks. Starting with Carson Hocevar, a Michigan native. One of 3 Michigan natives. Sorry. Not a negative to be from Michigan. I'm sorry. Listen. Michigan people, you're great. One of the 3 Michigan natives in the field. All 3 are going to be talked about. Carson Hocevar is at plus 110 on DraftKings. Carson was one of the fastest cars here last year until I believe he had a tire go down, if I remember right. But either way, he had trouble in the race that took him out of contention. They've arguably been better this year. Obviously, they have won, but Spire in general has just been better. They've been faster, seem to be more consistently bringing speed week in and week out. So add that with how well they did last year. I think he is a contender again. Maybe not to win. I know he's probably going to be a long shot favorite for some people, and I'm not saying that's wrong, but I like the plus money at a top 10 here for sure. He has finishes of 10th and 29th for an average finish overall of 19.5, but his speed ranking for the two are almost reverse stories, where in 2024, when he finished 10th, he had a speed ranking of 21st, and then in 2025, when he finished 29th with that tire problem, he had a speed ranking of 3rd. So, and he's also 8th overall in driver ratings. So, all that to be said, Carson Hocevar has been really good here. He's shown up at his home track, and I expect him to do that again this week. Moving on to another Michigan native, Brad Keselowski. I told you we'd talk about him. He's at plus 190 on DraftKings. He's been good here in the next-gen car. He currently has an average finish of 8.5, an average speed ranking. He is 9th overall in driver rating. He's 11th overall. RFK in general, going along with what I've said with Chris Buescher, has been good here. He's been good at these types of tracks. In fact, until the Coke 600, it has been an RFK guy who has been the top Ford. So I really like Keselowski at plus 190 to get a top 10 here, to be anywhere from like 15th to 8th place range. And, you know, I trust him as a veteran to be there at the end to contend for a top 10. Moving on, we have Daniel Suarez next at plus 310 on FanDuel. And before you come at me, I know I have it on FanDuel, and I know right now we're boycotting FanDuel, and FanDuel is the devil. And it did the worst thing, and I understand all that. But it was the best odds. So, and they did do the right thing, right? Eventually, after we had to bully them. I don't know. You can hate me in the comments if you want for doing another FanDuel one. But moving on, or going on with Daniel Suarez, at one time not long ago, it would have been crazy. I would have been told I was insane to have not one but 2 Spire cars that I am confident in to finish top 10, but that's just the case this year. 2 Spire cars have won a race now, Carson Hocevar and Daniel Suarez, and rightfully so. I mean, little bit of a fluke maybe with Suarez because it was a pit strategy thing, but then how he held them off on the restart. Spire has speed. I think they're contenders, and I think we got to start taking them a little bit more seriously. With that being said, Suarez has a 13.3 average finish, speed ranking that's 15th overall, and a driver rating of 14th overall. With the speed that they had last year and the consistent speed that they have this year, they being Spire, I believe that the 7 car will be contending for a top 10 Sunday. I think Daniel Suarez can absolutely get it done. Let's move on. We're keeping it in really just a couple teams here because the next guy I'm talking about is Ryan Preece, also with RFK Racing. I've got Preece at plus 400 on DraftKings. Preece doesn't have the top 10s he had like this past or like last year. Last year he had, I forget how many, but I know he won me quite a bit with picking him top 10s. But he does still have some speed. He's been good. But why I love this pick is a lot of the number. Plus 400 for Preece, I think, is a really, really good price, a really good number. He does have 2 top 10s here. His latest being last year. His speed ranking and driver ratings are not as appealing. They are 19th and 20th range. But again, at plus 400 for Ryan Preece, a car that has 2 top 10s here out of 4 races, I think is a really, really good number. So I jumped on that. Another Ford that I like is Zane Smith at plus 450 on DraftKings. This is a heat check for Zane Smith, who comes into this race with 2 consecutive top 10s. Now, what is also kind of interesting is he's only ran 2 races here, and he's only finished in 1 position. He was 7th in 24, and he was 7th last year for an overall finish of, anybody want to guess? 7th. So, I do think that he has been doing really good. Obviously, like I said, he's got 2 consecutive top 10s. And I think we see that again here. This is a good racetrack for him, obviously. Last year, he qualified well. He qualified top 10. Ended up getting this finish. So I have something on here in my write-up where there might be some weather. And if that's the case for qualifying and it gets rained out, then Zane Smith would have a good starting position, which would help him because obviously track position is key. But even if they don't, I like I said, Zane Smith qualified 10th here last year, got 7th place finish. So I like Zane Smith at plus 450. It's a really good number for a guy who's got 2 consecutive top 10s and who's got, he's 4th average overall average finish here. Again, that's only out of 2 races compared to most with 4. But I still think that's a pretty good bet. Moving on to my last top 10 and our last Michigan native. Wow, my tongue's really getting tied and twisted with these. But it is Eric Jones at plus 460 on FanDuel. I'm sorry, don't hate me. Again, this is a guy who has had speed here recently. He's been running well. Doesn't have top 10s necessarily, but has top 10 speed. Using the top 10 a lot at Nashville. Definitely deserved a top 10 finish, but didn't get one ultimately. Had a really good run at Dover. And this is a track that he's really good at. And Eric Jones seems to be one of those drivers who they have a set list of tracks they're good at, and they're just good at them, period. You think about how he is at Darlington. Dover was one, and he ran well there. So I like Eric Jones, I think, is going to be a top 10 contender again this week. He's 6th overall on average finish, 14th overall on speed ranking, 12th overall on driver rating. I think the 43 car is going to be a contender. I can't say it enough. I've been high on Eric Jones here recently. Plus 460. Fantastic number for that. For a guy who's got hasn't finished lower than 16th in the 4 races here. So, really, really like that. But let's move on. We're moving on to winners. First one's going to be an obvious one. It's automatic. Set your alarms every Tuesday or whatever when they drop the books. Denny Hamlin. Bet it. Denny Hamlin at plus 400 on DraftKings. That's the bet. He's the favorite yet again because yet again we're at a track where he's at the top of all of the stats. Driver rating, speed ranking, average finish. It's Denny Hamlin at the top of every single one. He won here last year. He is been one of the best cars this year. I know Reddick had the hot start, but Hamlin has been just consistently good. He's been fast. He's got the best average everything, I think, at these tracks this year. So it's got to be Denny Hamlin. Now, something to just watch for. This doesn't really have anything to do with the stats, but he would be going for his 60 is it his 63rd win, right? I'm blanking on it. I can't remember if it's 62. How many wins does Denny Hamlin have? 62. Yeah, okay. So he's got 62 wins. If he wins here again this weekend, it will put him at 63, which will tie him with the late Kyle Busch, which would be, man, it'd be very sad. It would be emotional. You got to think. I'm torn between if I want to see that. I mean, I definitely think we'll see it this year with just how well Denny Hamlin has ran. But yeah, so that'll be something to kind of keep an eye on. Kind of hope it happens. I don't know. I'm weird about it. But let's move on. Christopher Bell at plus 600 on DraftKings. C. Bell was oh so close again last week, but again, fell short. But man, he's knocking on the door. He's going to get one done. And a lot of people would think, yes, but this might not be the track based on the stats. And I understand what you're saying. He has a average finish of 22.5. His speed ranking average has him at 12th overall. And driver rating, he is 13th. So, let me also say this. Christopher Bell has never had a top 10 here, which is shocking. But he has had the speed to be top 5 contender or be a winner contender. To contend for a win. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. But he's just like Bell has had this year. He's just ran into trouble. He's ran into some bad luck. So like last year, I think he got into an accident or something like that. So I think this is one that, even though the stats don't really kind of back it up very much, I think this is still a good bet. The Toyotas are just fast. JGR is just fast. So regardless of the stats, you can throw all that out and just have recency bias and just say the 20's fast. He's in a Toyota. May as well pick him, and that's what I'm doing here. I think he can get it done. So C-Bell plus 600 on DraftKings. The next pick is a kind of a no-brainer, and that's Tyler Reddick at plus 700 on DraftKings. Tyler is a former winner here. He won it in 2024. His finishes outside of that, though, not really great. 29th, 30th, and then the win. And then last year he was 13th. But again, this is more of a recency bias thing with the Toyotas and just how fast Reddick has been, how good he's been on these types of tracks. Because of that, he is a pick for me, plus 700. I really like that number as well. So, Tyler Reddick, I think he can get it done. Get his 6th win of the year, which is just wild to think about. Moving on to a guy who does not have a win. He hasn't had a win in a year. And that's Kyle Larson at plus 800 on FanDuel. Sorry. But we all know the storyline. We know it's been a year without a win. We also know that can change any minute. And I say it every week now because it is only a matter of time. So you can just copy and paste basically what I've said the last, 4 or 5 weeks now, however long it's been that I've picked him, of you never know when he's going to win. And when he does win, you're going to wish you bet him at that number because it's going to start going down. So blah, blah, blah. You know the spiel. Kyle Larson plus 800. I really like that. 2nd overall in driver rating. Tied for 1st with Denny in speed ranking. 8th overall in average finish. Kyle Larson. I'm taking that chance at plus 800. Now here's the fun one. My last pick, what I did is on my write-up, which if you're not following or subscribed to the write-up on Substack, you should do that. That'd be very cool. But I was torn between Ty Gibbs and William Byron, so I put a poll up on Twitter, and it blew up. I'm kidding. One person voted. It was very sad, and it did kind of bruise my ego a little bit, but that's fine. Who cares? Let's move on. Anyways, I asked, which do you think you would be more confident in? Because Ty Gibbs, again, recency bias, Toyota, fast. He's got to win this year. William Byron has done really, really well here in the past. Was about to win last year. Ran out of gas. Year before that, he was 2nd. William Byron's at plus 1,800, which I think is a really, really good price for him and for somebody who's had the speed that he's had here. Ty Gibbs is at plus 1,200, which is really good. Ty Gibbs has an average finish of 6.8. That's 3rd overall. His last 2 races here, he's finished 3rd. So, I was torn between basically the one that is kind of a recency good price or the one that is here in the past, he's been really good, and the price is fantastic. And the one vote I had, thank you to whoever that was Ty Gibbs. So the pick is going to be Ty Gibbs at plus 1,200. I'm taking that 54 monster car to get his second win ever and second win of the season. And it is probably the right pick because, again, those Toyotas, man, wow. They've just been so fast, so good. And I said it when Ty Gibbs won earlier this season at Bristol, which I called back in February. But again, we won't get into that. Now that he's won, will they come easier? I know it's not easy to win in NASCAR. I mean, shoot, I've never won in NASCAR, so I know it's not easy. But you see that sometimes, where once you finally get the first one, then more start to come at a quicker pace. So I'd be interested to see if Ty Gibbs will still have that speed and will be up there contending for a win. I like the bet at plus 1,200. I still think those are really good odds for him. So that's going to be my final pick. Thank you again to the one person who voted on that. Hopefully we're right, brother. Or sister. I don't know who it was. But Ty Gibbs plus 1,200. Those are the picks. Thank you for watching. If you like this, please like, subscribe, share, yada, yada, all that social media mumbo jumbo. My stuff should be down at the corner for my X page. Follow me on there, then you can get the link for everything else, YouTube's, TikTok, all that stuff that I do, because I do put some little short stuff out on YouTube and TikTok as well, like race ratings, flag stand segment type of thing, where I just talk about some my three most takes that stood out the most for races. Comment below. Tell me what you think about these picks. Do you think they are good picks? Are you riding with them? Are we going to be chasing a checker together? Or are you thinking, you know more, I'm an idiot, and you're going to go whatever way you're going to go, and you're going to get the checker, and I'm going to be left in the dust? Would love to hear from you. Know what you guys are thinking. I'm Matty NASCAR. This is Chase for the Checkers. We'll see you next time. Bye.